Welcome to part 2 of Sonic Mania. Last time, we conquered Green Hill Zone, conquered Chemical Plant and the new Studiopolis, and managed to get all the Chaos Emeralds. This time, I'm going to go for another classic, good old Flying Battery Zone, which has seen a complete makeover from the original, which, in more ways than I thought it would. Firstly, there's a secret, there we go, there's a secret fire shield there, which is nice to know about. But what I mean is, like, because I loved and hated the original, as I kind of mentioned earlier. I liked it, but when I was a kid I really struggled to understand what to do and what was expected of you to go through it, so I really grew to detest what they expected of you from it. But as I got older, I appreciated it for what it was, whilst this version is completely different while still trying to harken back to the original, which I know can be said for almost every recreation zone in this game, but it felt more so in this one more than any other. Like, Act 1 feels a bit familiar, but Act 2 is just so in its own world, it's not even funny. And with the idea of the electric shield making you go to these electrically powered ceilings instead of it just being a cosmetic thing is such a cool extra addition we add to it. If you spin that, oh, there we go. Oh, didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to neglect using Supersonic as much as possible, but oh well, might as well show him off while we're here. Supersonic, pretend it's like a faster version of the speed boost plus invincibility, and that you kind of get the gist. Because you do move faster than you do with the speed shoot. And I hit that button, there we go. And you're invincible. But at least they don't do what they did in Sonic 3. In Sonic 3, as much as I love it, the Supersonic theme was just the invincibility theme. So it got repetitive and boring so quickly to listen to. Especially because the in-game soundtrack I always felt was better than the invincibility theme. Whilst this, they actually gave a new theme specifically for Supersonic. Sort of like Sonic 2. I say sort of because Sonic 2 is just an extension of the invincibility theme. Whilst this actually is a new theme. Hooray! But you still aren't immune to instant kills. That's always worth noting. Crushes and falling in bottomless pits will still kill you regardless. And now you've got the most powerful version of Supersonic. If you get an electric shield and you've got Supersonic, you're probably never going to lose Supersonic. Because the way it works, if you've been living under a rock with the classic Sonic franchise, is that you have to have 50 rings, press the jump button again in mid-air and you go Supersonic. After that, every second you lose a ring. When you hit 0, your Supersonic runs out. Which is why having the electric shield, so you're constantly pulling rings to you, makes Supersonic almost broken. Because you're never going to run out of rings in this case. And now we're at the mini-boss already. Right, what I think you're supposed to do to it, obviously when I'm not necessarily Supersonic, is Badnik bounce. Bounce off the enemies so it bounces you high enough to hit it. Because that does work. You can bounce off the enemies to get much higher than you're supposed to. But with Supersonic you can break it and hit it early. But what most people tend to do is wait until the crushers, like the two walls on the side, have come in close enough to lift up all the rubbish that's in it. Because as it closes in, everything crunches up, so it makes it taller and taller and taller. So eventually it becomes really easy to hit it. See? But yeah, Act 1 wasn't that long. Act 2, if you're as explorative as me, Act 2 you'll find very long. When I got to the boss it said 9 minutes, so I had to panic blitz through the entire boss in this on my first run, just to try and get it. There's two routes, an upper and a lower. If you don't jump, you'll fall through to a lower path, which does have another big ring in it, but I want to take the upper path because I just prefer it. Even though I think it's a little longer, but I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I just like it. I like going through the flying battery. There's no other real way to describe it. Also, you can't go Supersonic when you've got a shield of any kind on. That's sort of the general thing. For some reason, they don't have that when you play as Knuckles. At least, as of this recording, they haven't patched any updates to change that. But if you go through as Knuckles and you have a shield, and you press that jump button again in mid-air, you're going Super anyway. Which makes it even more OP, because you just get the electric shield and go Super Knuckles, and then there's nothing stopping you. And I can't remember if it's the same with Tails. I've played Tails this run through in a little while. I did it once and then haven't really touched it since, because I usually go back to Sonic's for the main game, or Knuckles is for all the extra stuff. Oh, my only problem is because I'm so used to the drop dash, which by the way has the same button input as Supersonic. I'm going to be accidentally Supersonicing quite a bit, and it's going to get annoying because I don't want to use it too much. I want it to still have the challenge of the main game, still risk being hit, still not being permanently immortal super fast. Because Supersonic is just broken as all hell, and so I don't want to use it, but I keep on accidentally using it. Right, now, I don't know if it's just me, but if you get the supersonic shoes, if you get the speed shoes whilst you're supersonic, it feels like supersonic actually gets slower whilst the speed shoes are active, because of how much faster he innately is. Oh, I kind of liked. Oh, well, it's kind of like the electric shield, but I didn't have it. I lost it just to get supersonic by accident. I want to take that upper path though. And it's the thing with supersonic, because of how ridiculously OP everything is. Because he also jumps higher than normal. You can reach a lot of places you're probably not supposed to. Like, you can't. It's kind of a joke sometimes. Especially because if you jump the very instant you come off a spin dash, you get more air anyway. And so if you do that with supersonic, the amount of air you can achieve in this game is mind-blowing. You can jump so fucking high. Like, you can reach areas that I'm pretty sure only Tails is supposed to reach if you like do an instant spin dash jump. I haven't mastered it because you have to be like almost frame perfect, and I just can't do that. But if you watch any tool-assisted speed runs, or even the classic trilogy, you could do it as well. People abuse the hell out of that to get really high jumps. I know it's tool-assisted because I've never seen it in a normal one, even though I know it's possible to do normally. It's just every time I see a tool-assisted, they spam the hell out of it because they know they can get away with it. There's several paths here, but I want to go this way because I already opened the other door from the other side earlier in the act. And there's a lot of goodies in it for you, so might as well. But the way you're supposed to go, if you take this route, can like it's easy enough to spot. It's just take the upper road, stick to the top right. But it can be a little awkward to find sometimes. I got a little stuck there on my blind run because I wasn't sure that you had to go up to that top corner. So I ended up taking the other path, but the other path you go there leads to a dead end. Oh, and I somehow messed that bit up because you're supposed to blow up the floor as you run across, so you go straight up through it and back down where I was, but no, I just completely skipped it accidentally. I like how I've got the combined ring, if it doesn't mean it. Oh yeah, right, this. If you want the window shopping trophy, do what I just did there. Because there's certain bits where the wind is stronger than others and Sonic will get picked up by it, and you need to get picked up and go out and then back in through the window. And that's the spot you can do it. Mostly the wind isn't too big of a problem. Most of the time the wind's just there to stop you going to places they don't want you to go to yet. Like, they want you to go the long way around. They don't want you to just jump over the whole level like Wing Fortress style. This bit's quite fun, but I've always been curious. I think it's the third one of this. Is there a bottomless pit beneath me? Or is there an actual thing? Because it slings you straight in here, and I've always been curious if that's a bottomless pit. But I've never obviously did, because I don't want to randomly kill myself to test it. I was just curious. Okay. Now this is the boss. This boss is actually kind of cool. You can't harm it normally. Instead, when you jump on this, you got the giant, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like the jing bell things. I never remember what they're called. They're just a thing where you hit them, they go ding. The ding ball things. But anyway, when you bounce off it, you're trying to bounce Eggman into the spikes. I don't think he takes an all 8 hits like he usually does for this boss, just because it ends up being a lot longer fight because of it. But if you're supersonic, you can hit it a lot harder, so you can end up hitting the spikes times when you're not supposed to, and then just kind of break it like that. But I thought that was another interesting fight. As I ramble on my way through Sonic Mania. Oh shit. Oh, but the next is a new level, and one that at first I actually didn't like, but I grew to like it, and it's actually my favourite one now. Press Garden. Act 1 I'm still a bit iffy with, because the deal with Act 1 is that it's the platform side of the platforming game we're playing. It's very platform heavy, and it reminds me a lot of Sonic 1. And as much as I love Sonic 1, Marble Zone and Spring Yard Zone are... I didn't really like them that much, because it was so platform heavy. And this one's kind of the same, but it's alright. I grew to appreciate it, even if it is platform heavy. I know there's another big ring if you go to the bottom route and go left, but I want to get a move. I've got all the big rings, so I don't need them. If you get, just like Sonic 3, if you get a big ring when you've got all the Chaos Emeralds, it just gives you 50 rings. If you stay in those, they crush you in, but you shouldn't die to them. The chance of you dying to them isn't likely unless you suck, if I'm honest. I keep on going to drop dash, but I know I've got over 50 rings. I'm trying to stop myself. Ah, no! Ah, never mind. I know I've got over 50 rings, but yeah. I went all in because I missed the possibility of getting the upper route, and I like the upper route. This bit I guess you might get yourself killed in, but I don't see it happening likely. There we go. I like these enemies as well. The only thing that took me a while is that the little buzzsaws that they're like throwing between each other. The buzzsaw only has a hurt box on it when it's being thrown. When it's just like, when they're still in their hands and they're sort of juggling it between their hands, it won't harm you. You can jump straight on them and it won't matter. Oh well, there we go. Well, I think that was a unique enemy in the first place. I thought that was a cool idea. Ooh. I want to go this way. Even though it goes the same way as the other route, they both lead to here, but I just want to go this version of it. And the path we're taking, if you're still... Oh, god damn it, I didn't mean to do that again. I was trying to... You have to hold the jump button down to get a higher bounce. So that I was kind of screwed out of it anyway. Oh shit. Oh, well, I guess we're not showing that off. I was going to say, there's a part if you go the other route, where there's a room just filled with loads of boxes and there's a fire shield right next to it, and if you take the fire shield and destroy the boxes, there's a trophy or achievement if you're into that for you. Oh, I went platform, I'll just do that way then. Which I thought was kind of cool. I need to try and stop myself getting Super Sonic. You know, I think from now on I'm just going to intentionally get myself hurt. And this bit here is an odd but interesting nod to my least favourite level in Sonic history. It's an infinite loop unless you jump and go up the upper route of this bit. If you just go with it normally, it will infinitely loop, which is a reference to Sandopolis, and I despise Sandopolis. I've never liked that level. Alright, I'll show off the idea of this mini-boss. The crates that look like they're made of steel don't mean a thing. These wooden crates, instead, every time the buzzsaw hits it, it breaks the buzzsaw, leaving it open. And then you just wait for it to do it again. And then in the open space, jump up and hit it again. And that's the simple premise of it. It's an easy fight, but it's still... It's a nice thing. It's like, I like it when the mini-bosses are unique, but they're not hard. Because I don't think the mini-bosses should be hard. I think the actual bosses should be difficult. But the mini-bosses that just break up the pace at the end of the first act shouldn't be that tough. And here's Act 2. The beautiful, Japanified Act 2. Which is a lot of people, including one of my favourite YouTubers, Some Call Me Johnny's, favourite track in the ODST. OST. I always say that. And I don't know why. Like, I know where I got it from. I got it from playing Halo 3 ODST, but I really didn't like Halo ODST. But every time I go to see OST, I end up saying ODST. I don't mean to. But this track is a lot of people's favourite tracks. And I can see why. It's not my favourite, but I can see why. It's a very lovely track that just feels so nice with this level. And it's a cool idea because it's the ice level of the game, and I think it's just because we couldn't have ice cap due to copyright with Michael Jackson. So they made it up with it by having having their own ice level and making it badass and beautiful in its own way. And having a cool gimmick of being frozen, and when you're frozen you destroy absolutely everything whilst you're moving. So if you get frozen on a ramp or something, prepare to become a destruction force. Or how, like, you see how these glasses are made of ice as well, you can destroy these. Of course I'm making a shit job of it, but if you're frozen you'll burst straight through them. Or like there's also blue springs you can find here that break after you take the spring the first time, so you can only use them once. Oh, unfortunately you can't get through it. I think you have to get frozen. Yeah, if you get frozen, zip round that way, you get it. But so unfortunately we can't right now. Oh well, different route. Oh. We was breaking the ice springs as we was going down there. I wanna be frozen. See, you just kind of destroy everything in your path. Oh, and up we go. Oh, time to break then. If you hit like a solid flat object, whether it's a wall or the ground, it will smash again. It's just with your slope going up and down slopes or around corners, things like that, you're fine. I think... Oh no, I can see it. So I think you just jump straight up, but no, they saw that. If we hit the spring, it breaks through, and then eventually we can go through it ourselves. Oh, we're hitting the red spring then to go over. Whee! And here's the boss. Our next hard-boiled heavy. The Heavy Shinobi, I think it's called. Who will throw Orbinauts as shurikens. Because why not? They're not Orbinauts. Oh, fuck, what are they called? They originate from the Trilogy of Terrors from Metropolis. And I only remember shell crackers and slices, because no one remembers the stars. Because the stars aren't that bad. It's the other two in line with it. But the Shinobi's not too bad. Just, the idea is every time it jumps is when you gotta hit it. If you try and jump at it normally, it will swing its sword and knock you away. It's a kind of shame that's a short level. I'd love to spend more time in that level. I love it. And our next unique level is not for quite a little while yet. As Eggman shows off Little Planet and Metal Sonic, so... Oh, didn't mean to hit the mic. So it gives us a very good indication of where we're going next. No, not Studiopolis. God, I'm so bubbly and I always get my words muddled, so I love this game so much. Stardust Speedway from CD. Which I was curious, when they initially revealed this game, I was very curious to see if they was going to have CD levels in it, or if it was just going to be 1, 2 and 3. But so I was quite pleasantly surprised when not 1 but 2 levels got through, even if I'm not the biggest fan of their second choice. But then I understand their second choice. The more I think about it, especially after when I commented on it last part, the more I think about it, I kind of understand their decision, because all the other zones weren't as well remembered as the last 2 in CD. Because Stardust Speedway just has an awesome fight, and the second thing that's infamous with Classic Sonic. And Metal Madness, when we get to that later on, it's just a really fun final level, even if it's hard as balls and questionably fair. And I like these enemies up until you're doing time attack. The moment you're trying to speedrun the levels, those enemies will always dick you over. Because their spawn, when it happens and where they spawn, is random. And so sometimes they'll just spawn perfectly in front of you to ruin your run. When I say that, I think my speed run on this level is like 2 minutes. It's really shit. I say it's like 2 minutes 30 or 2 minutes 40. Oh god damn it! I didn't mean to do that. I meant the drop dash. Come on, there we go. I like how they got the little shooter pads as well to give you a speed boost. And it's not Sonic 4's Dimp style, where there's just a million speed boosts back to back, completely killing the point of gameplay because you're not doing anything. Oh, I didn't realise there was an upper route. Let's go that way then. Oh. Ah! Which way are we going? Okay, this way. Okay. Whee. Still not doing a bonus stage. Maybe in a bonus part, because I haven't decided yet, but once I've like got all the main game done, I might do like an extra part just showing off some of the extra stuff with Knuckles, and then when I'm there I might as well show off a few of the other things like debug mode, because you can use that to literally rip the game in half again, like the classics. Or end stages instantly by spawning goalposts. Right, here comes Act 1's mini-boss. This is a cool expansion on the concept of something that was in Metallic Madness originally. There was a point in Metallic Madness where you was trapped in a room and you had to kill a bunch of these guys before you could get let through. And so they've just sort of expanded on it and made it a mini-boss. Just now they've also a big one that has a giant doom laser. Look at that fucking thing. It's ridiculous. There we go. Oh, thanks, Tails. Let's see if we can find an item. No, never mind. Oh well, worth a shot. Now this bit, it's a cool reference. They destroy a robot generator, which was one of the ways of getting the true ending in CD. And I like that they made that reference and all, and that you pass a future sign, so we're going into the present day instead of being in the past version of Stardust Speedway. But there's one problem, and I know this is an extremely nitpicky, nerdy as hell problem, But in CD, if you destroyed a robot generator, every single robot died. Entirely, every single robot died. And as you can see here, some of the bandits aren't dead. They're still fucking here. They're still fucking here. So what, do they just not need a generator to live anymore? Like, I get it's a cool reference and they need enemies in it to keep it challenging, because if it was an enemyless level, when I can get the word structure right, it would be too easy. But still, it was a weird thing. I noticed it on my first run. I was like, shouldn't all the enemies be dead? Or cease to exist? But I love Act 2's theme. As much as I love how peaceful and tranquil Act 1 is, Act 2 is just what I remember of Stardust Speedway, and I just kind of prefer it. Not that I'm saying I don't like the new, because I think T-Lopes even was a masterclass musician to do this soundtrack, and I'm really glad they hired him, and I hope they keep him along for more projects in the future, because his soundtrack's godly. But I kind of prefer the stuff that's more in line with the classics for some of the levels in the new. Some of them, like Green Hill Zone, I think the new one's far better than the original, but that's just because I'm sick and tired of hearing Green Hill Zone, because they remixed it so many fucking times. And they're doing it again in Forces when that comes out at the end of the year. There's another Green Hill Zone. It's like, yeah, it was fun in the original, Emerald Hill was fun in Sonic 2, Neo Green Hill was starting to get a bit okay, and then we did it again in Generations, but we kind of let you off. Splash Hill Zone was a definite Green Hill, and it was boring as hell. Green Hill Zone in this, at least they spiced it up and made it different than original, so I let them off for it. But they're doing it again in Forces, and I'm just like, for fuck's sake, let it go. We get it, it's the most recognisable level in Sonic, but it doesn't mean you should keep on remaking it. I only let it off in Mania and Generations because they're both homages to the originals that they come from, and so so it makes sense to have it. But everything else, there's no excuse. Like, I think the first time I raised my eyebrow was Sonic Advance with its Neo Green Hill Zone. It's like, you're not even fucking trying at this point. Or no, Sunset Hill Zone, Sonic Advance 3, can't forget that, where it tries to act like it's a new level, and then you realise the track is just a remix of Green Hill Zone anyway. Yeah, but I say that, but I do like the Advance series, and even if Advance 3 has its problems, I do like the Advance series. But I guess we should talk about the actual elephant. The Metal Sonic fight. Instead of making it a standard race, they actually tried to make it a unique multi-layered fight. And you've got some Game Gear Silver Sonics. I can't remember if it was Game Gear Sonic 1 or Sonic 2. I think it's Sonic 1. But don't hold me to that. It might even be Triple Trouble for all I know. Or Sonic Chaos, but it was one of them. Which is why they're so small, because Sonic... Yeah, it must have been Sonic 1 Game Gear, because everything in Sonic 1 Game Gear was so fucking small. And and when they spin dash, you have to knock them into Metal Sonic, because even if you have Super Sonic and jump high enough to hit it, it won't count. And these sections are sort of like races, but not really. You're just moving along whilst trying to dodge Metal Sonic's attacks, which is easier said than done. Some of them are... Like that one, if you're in mid-air when he does that, you're not avoiding it. But then there's some, like this one, just don't go too fast and you'll always miss it, because he goes in front of where you're going. He expects you to be going too fast and go into it. That one's alright if there's any slopes, it's just if you're in a straight line it might be a bit awkward. And as you can see in the background, we're building up to something. There's something building in the background. And I thought that that big Eggman thing would be where another new level would take place, but no, it's just there for cosmetics, I think. Either that, oh no, actually, I was going to say either that or it's the final level of the game, because the final level, you are going through a giant Eggman structure, but when you see the ending cinematic, it's a completely different structure than that. So I don't think it's the same. But then, if you want to go for, like, try and overanalyze something, it might just be like a prototype or the in development version of it. Right, this second part sort of embraces the race formula because it's a giant death wall facing you, but you're actually trying to beat up Metal Sonic, not race him to anywhere. And you kind of can't lose this fight. Because every time you hit the wall and lose rings, the rings don't go past the wall, so you'll always pick them back up. And there we go! See, that wasn't too bad. And the part... What the hell? You guys saw that, right? I'm keeping that in. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna go into my edit and have a look at that, because I saw that. I wasn't right. Anyway, next time we're going to the best zone of Sonic 3. But until then, you take care now.